There is one extraplanet in our solar system. It was known to ancient people by many different names. Sumerians called it Nibiru, and Bible refers to it as Wormwood. It was known to create epic cataclysms on Earth each time it passed through our solar system, approximately every 3,600 years, on its long elliptical orbit extended out into open space. Every time it passes, it causes a pole shift, a crustal shift. Actually, Earth's magnetic core is pushed away violently, the crust separates and slides over the molten magma. Thus, each time polar ice caps form in new places, old ones melting and elevating sea levels, worldwide. Plate movements during these cataclysms result in great quakes and mountain building. Add to that, the extreme lashing by space debris and Planet X, Nibiru tail, and petrochemicals forming an atmosphere, and falling like a wall of fire. Frozen mammoth carcasses indicate such changes, and also other evidence, collected by Immanuel Velikovsky, Charles Habgood and others. It is described in various folklore, legends about great upheavals of the past. Frozen mammoths show that they died suddenly, within hours, drowning, then freezing immediately, and covered with volcanic ashes from the volcanoes active at that times. Mammoths were inhabiting temperate climates. They were large herbivores, with plant life typical for temperate zone found in their stomachs. So, according to the Zetas, we are headed toward a next such periodic pole shift. Signs heralding next arrival of Nibiru are already here. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. They ate, drank, and married, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came, and destroyed them all.
Behold the fig tree, and any other tree. When they shoot forth, ye see and know that summer is nigh at hand. So likewise thee, when ye see all these things come to pass, know that it is near, at the doorstep.
In prophecies of all times, that have been around for centuries, and coming from many different sources, the same theme is reiterated over and over again: global natural cataclysms that bring destruction to mankind, referring apparently to the times we now live in. They point to the coming pole shift, which has a known periodicity, and thus was often associated with the millennium. Hopi mythology speaks of the creation of 4 worlds, 3 of which were destroyed in succession. The pole twins left their posts at the north and south ends of the world, where they were stationed to keep the earth properly rotating, and the world teetered out of balance, spun around crazily, then rolled over, twice. Land was put where water was, and water where the land was. Waves higher than mountains rolled in upon the land. Continents broke asunder and sank beneath the seas. The present, 4th world is to be destroyed by a pole shift and flooding. The Bible, in Revelations, is often quoted, and is most definitely reporting the occurrence of a pole shift, often in symbolic language. Hail of stones, earthquakes, exploding volcanoes, that darken the sky with ash, fire from the sky, waters turn bitter and red with the red dust, the heat of the long day, hot earth, frantic insects of the desert, and a red dragon in the sky. The appearances from the sky are described as creatures, such as a dragon, or lion, or scorpion. The Bible has a description of a scene by the primitive peoples, without scientific knowledge of today, impressed greatly by what they witnessed. Reading the words of Revelations, one can see those words that apply to cataclysms, without doubt.
Mother Shipton was a 15th century Yorkshire seeress, who was known for stunning descriptions of the end days in her writings. When pictures seem alive with movements when boats like fishes swim beneath the sea, when men like birds shall scour the sky, then half the world, deep drenched in blood, shall die. For those who live the century through, in fear and trembling this shall do. Flee to the mountains and the dens, to bog and forest and wild fens. For storms will rage and oceans roar, when Gabriel stands on sea and shore. And as he blows his wondrous horn, old worlds die and new be born. A fiery dragon will cross the sky 6 times before the earth shall die. Mankind will tremble and frightened be, for the 6 heralds in this prophecy. For 7 days and 7 nights man will watch this awesome sight. The tides will rise beyond their ken to bite away the shores, and then the mountains will begin to roar, and earthquakes split the plain to shore. And flooding waters rushing in will flood the lands with such a din that mankind cowers in muddy fen, and snarls about his fellow men. And when the dragon's tail is gone, man forgets, and smiles, and carries on to apply himself. Too late, for mankind has earned deserved fate. His masked smile, his false grandeur, will serve the gods their anger stir, and they will send the dragon back to light the sky. His tail will crack upon the earth, and rend the earth, and man shall flee, king, lord and serf. But slowly they are rooted out, to seek diminishing water spout. And men will die of thirst before the oceans rise to mount the shore. And lands will crack and rend anew. You think it strange? It will come true. It is also relayed by various prophets and seers of modern times. Edgar Cayce is one of the best known for his predictions regarding end times. The earth will be broken up in many places, and there will be the shifting of the poles. Hitch will come from the shifting of the equilibrium of the earth itself in space, the upheavals in the interior of the earth, and the shifting of same, by the differentiation in the axis, as respecting their positions from the polar center. The indications are that some of these have already begun.
Many present-day contactees speak of dire messages they have been given concerning the end time of this world, often in form of apocalyptic visions, where they are shown sights of a devastated earth. They are understood by the contactee to be visions of the future. Most consider this to be a warning that these beings are trying to communicate to mankind. Prophecies often seem to differ from one another. What is truth? When compared, one will find that they all correlate. Yet the Hopi had no contact with Mother Shipton, nor she with the sleeping prophet from Kentucky. In fact, all is truth, but one must sort it out by concentrating less on the trivial differences, and more on the similarities. It is like the proverbial blind men, walking around the elephant, each describing a different part they have encountered. Prophecy invariably gets packaged for the intended audience, but if one reads beyond the surface for the deeper meaning, one will find a remarkably similar line. But the talk of the end of the world has been around for centuries. For at least past 200 years, men have predicted that the end is to arrive at such or such a date. The announced dates have come and gone, with nothing happening. People are inured of such talk, and generally smile when they hear it. They are treated as cries of yet another alarmist. Would then anyone call Pope John Paul II a doomsday alarmist?
In 1917, 3 shepherd children claimed to have been visited by an apparition of Mother Mary, in a small village of Fatima in Portugal. According to their account, they were presented with 3 visions. The first 2 were disclosed in 1941, by Lucia dos Santos, the eldest of the 3 children. The first secret was a vision of hell. Our Lady showed us a great sea of fire which seemed to be under the earth. The second secret was supposedly a prediction about the end of World War, and the coming World War II. However, Lucia did not reveal the third secret, being not yet convinced that God had clearly authorized her to act. Lucia wrote the secret down in 1944 and sealed it in an envelope not to be opened until 1960, as by that time, it will be more clearly understood, and, because the Blessed Virgin wishes it so. When 1960 arrived, rather than releasing the third secret, the Vatican published an official press release, stating that it was most probable the secret would remain, forever, under absolute seal, because the world is not ready for it. Then, in the year 2000, the Vatican announced official publication of the third secret, and told the world that it was foretelling the persecution of Christians in the 20th century, culminating in the failed assassination attempt on the Pope in 1981. Along with the text of the secret, then Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger published a theological commentary, in which he stated, "Those who expected exciting apocalyptic revelations about the end of the world, or the future course of history, will probably prove to be disappointed. No great mystery is revealed, nor is the future unveiled. Fatima does not satisfy our curiosity in this way. However, this is a contradiction to a considerable amount of evidence in the record, including previous testimony by Cardinal Ratzinger himself. In an interview for Jesus magazine in 1984, Cardinal Ratzinger was asked whether he had read the text of the Third Secret, and why it had not been revealed. He acknowledged that he had read the Third Secret, and stated in part that it involves the, quote, importance of the noviciemi, the end times, and dangers threatening the faith and the life of the Christian and, therefore, the life of the world.
Therefore, some critics claim that the text of the Third Secret released by the Vatican is not the real secret, or at least not the full secret. It is alleged that Cardinals Bertone, Ratzinger and Sodano engaged in a systematic deception to cover up the existence of a full document containing information about the end days and apocalypse.
Regarding the Third Secret of Fatima, Pope John Paul II told gathering of German priests in 1980, "Because of the seriousness of its contents, my predecessors in the Patron Office have diplomatically preferred to withhold its publication, in order to prevent the world power of communism to make certain moves. On the other hand, it should be sufficient for all Christians to know this: if there is a message in which it is written that the oceans will flood entire sections of the earth, and that from one moment to the next, millions of people will perish, truly, the publication of such a message is no longer something to be so much desired. There is no point in really wanting to publish this secret message." October 1981 issue of the German Stimme des Glaubens magazine, reporting on Pope John Paul II discussion with a select group of German Catholics in November 1980. In 1982, when asked why the third Fatima message had not been revealed to the world, Pope John Paul II replied to a gathering of bishops in Germany by asking, "What good would it do to alarm the world to the fact that the oceans would leave their basins and wash up on the continents, where millions would die by the hour?" Many wish to know simply from curiosity, and a taste for the sensational. But they forget that knowledge also implies responsibility. They only seek the satisfaction of their curiosity. And that is dangerous, if at the same time they are not disposed to do something. And if they are convinced that it is impossible to do anything against evil.
So, what of the Third Secret of Fatima, which the Pope and his entourage announced to be about the Pope's assassination? Does anyone believe this, when Vatican has purchased, with the funds of the faithful, a site in Arizona, and built an observatory on Mount Graham, in 1993, to watch the skies? It is in connection with the Arizona University. However, Vatican has the larger part of the control over this observatory, looking at deep space objects. Unusual optical design and novel mirror fabrication techniques allow its Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, VATT, to conduct observation in the optical and infrared, and unusually sharp focusing. Observations of unusual precision can be achieved there on a regular basis. Among the notable results from this telescope has been the discovery and classification of some 100 trans-Neptunian objects, most of them fainter than magnitude 21. Vatican is apparently very concerned about observing the deep space. According to a former Vatican employee, he discovered an encrypted file deep within the Vatican's computer center, a file titled Wormwood, along with signs of a direct link between the Hubble Space Telescope and the Pope. Word wormwood means to make bitter, or to curse, and is mentioned several times in the Bible. It refers to the coming of a judgment, bringing bitterness to the world, as well as the mark of the end days. In Revelations, wormwood is the name given to a star that brings destruction upon the world. On April 5, 1997, Father Malachi Martin said in an interview to Art Bell, "Those at the highest levels of Vatican administration and geopolitics know that, now, knowledge of what's going on in space, and what is approaching us, could be of great importance in the next 5 years, 10 years. Lucia herself is reported to have explicitly stated that the Third Secret contains apocalyptic content. And at one occasion, she even specified Apocalypse chapters 8 to 13, a range that includes the chapter and verse cited by the Pope